In a quiet shelter on the edge of town, a blind 12-year-old golden retriever named Buddy waited in silence. His once bright eyes had clouded, his golden fur fading with age. Volunteers whispered he wouldn't last long. Yet, whenever someone walked by, Buddy still wagged his tail gently, as if clinging to hope. He had no way of knowing that his life was about to take a turn. A family was on their way, carrying with them something far more powerful than pity, a chance for love, belonging, and a bond that would soon surprise the entire town. Emily and John, a young couple, walked into the shelter with their newborn daughter, Lily. Emily, with soft auburn hair and a kind smile, wanted her child to grow up surrounded by compassion. John, tall and steady, looked uncertain. "A blind dog?" he murmured. But as soon as Buddy heard Lily's soft coo, his ears perked and his tail moved with a faint rhythm. Emily noticed, and her heart softened. John remained hesitant, but in that moment something invisible passed between the baby and the old dog. It was enough to make them pause and wonder. Could this work? Emily carefully lowered Lily's stroller closer to Buddy's blanket. The blind dog sniffed the air, trembling with caution, then leaned forward. His cold nose brushed against the baby's tiny hand. Lily laughed, a sound so pure that it silenced the room. Buddy froze, then lowered his head in gentle surrender, as if giving himself to this small life. John's eyes widened in disbelief. This fragile old dog, once seen as hopeless, had just found a reason to live. From that moment, the decision was clear. The family would not leave without him. Buddy had found his home. Behind him. Emily guided him gently, while John carried Lily in his arms. The old dog paused at every sound, uncertain but curious. When Lily's stroller was placed near the window, Buddy found his way to her, lying down at her side as though it had always been his place. Emily smiled through tears. This house, once just theirs, now carried the warmth of something more. A family bound not by perfection, but by acceptance and love. The first nights were not easy. Buddy whined softly in the dark, unsettled by unfamiliar walls. John thought maybe they had made a mistake. But each time Lily cried, Buddy lifted his head, listening, then settled again only when the baby was soothed. Slowly, John began to notice. The dog's restlessness mirrored Lily's. Their struggles were somehow connected. Emily whispered, "He's trying to comfort her." For the first time, John saw not just a blind dog, but a guardian with a heart too loyal to give up. The bond was already weaving itself quietly in the night. Days passed, and Buddy began following Emily's voice around the house. His cloudy eyes could not guide him, but the familiar sound of Lily's giggles did. Whenever the stroller wheels creaked across the floor, Buddy rose, tail wagging, and followed closely. One afternoon, Emily left Lily on a blanket. The baby reached toward Buddy's fur, tiny fingers curling into it. He did not flinch. Instead, he lowered his head, letting her explore. Watching them, John felt his doubts fading. Trust was being built, not through sight, but through touch and presence. One bright morning, John clipped a leash onto Buddy's red collar. "Let's try a short walk," he said. With Emily pushing the stroller beside him, the little family stepped into the sunlight. Buddy's paws were hesitant on the sidewalk, but when Lily squealed from the stroller, his pace steadied. Neighbors peeked out, surprised to see the old blind dog striding carefully but proudly. It was as if the baby's voice became his compass. Step by step, Buddy was reclaiming a part of his dignity. For John, the doubt was turning into quiet pride. It didn't take long for Buddy to claim his role. Whenever Lily napped in her crib, he lay down at the doorway, his ears twitching at every sound. Emily noticed how his breathing slowed when the baby sighed, almost in rhythm. One afternoon, a neighbor knocked unexpectedly, startling Lily awake. Before Emily could reach the crib, Buddy was already there, tail wagging but body alert, standing guard. Though blind, his loyalty gave him sight in other ways. Emily whispered softly, "You're her protector now." Buddy's cloudy eyes seemed to glow, as if he understood his purpose. For weeks, Lily's giggles had been rare. But with Buddy nearby, everything changed. She laughed at the feel of his soft ears, at the way his tail brushed against her tiny feet. One sunny afternoon, Emily set them both on a blanket in the backyard. Buddy lay on his side while Lily patted his fur. Then came a laugh so loud and pure that even John rushed outside to hear it. For the first time, the house filled with both a baby's joy and a dog's contentment. The sound became the heartbeat of their home. John had been the most reluctant to bring Buddy home. But one evening, as he sat in his chair reading, he noticed Lily struggling to fall asleep. Buddy walked slowly to her, curled up beside the crib, and within minutes, her tiny body relaxed. Her breathing steadied, her hand resting through the crib slats onto Buddy's fur. John closed his book, stunned. This blind old dog had done what he could not: bring peace to his daughter. For the first time, John knelt down, stroked Buddy's head, and whispered, "Thank you." The bond was now undeniable. Buddy could not see Lily's eyes, yet somehow he understood her. When she fussed, he sat quietly nearby, ears flicking, waiting until she calmed. Emily noticed how Lily's tiny hand always reached toward him, as if she knew he was there, even before she opened her eyes. John began to realize this was no ordinary companionship. It was a language of silence. No words, no sight, just presence. Buddy's cloudy eyes might have lost the world, but his heart saw something no one else could. In Lily, he had found his reason to stay strong. The day Lily first tried to stand was unforgettable. Emily placed her gently on the carpet, encouraging her tiny legs. Buddy lay close, tail thumping softly. As Lily wobbled, her hand clutched his golden fur for balance. He didn't move, not even when she pulled. His patience gave her courage, and her first unsteady step was taken with his support. Emily's eyes filled with tears as she whispered, "He's her strength." For Buddy, it wasn't just about walking. It was about proving that even in his blindness, he could guide her into life's new chapters. One sunny afternoon, John decided to take the family on a nature walk. The stroller bumped gently along the path while Buddy trotted beside them, ears perked, nose twitching at the scents of pine and earth. When the stroller wheels got stuck in the dirt, John sighed, but Buddy pressed forward, nudging the stroller with his body until it rolled free. John looked at him in astonishment. Though blind, Buddy navigated the woods with instinct and purpose, as if Lily's presence gave him courage. It was clear now. He wasn't just surviving, he was thriving. In a wide-open meadow, Emily spread a blanket and placed Lily on it. Buddy lay close, golden fur glowing under the sun. Lily reached out, clutching wildflowers and giggling when Buddy's nose brushed her tiny hand. The air was filled with warmth, and for a moment, time seemed to stop. Emily watched them with awe, her fragile baby and her blind old dog, together in perfect harmony. The meadow became their sacred place, a symbol of what love could create. In that sunlight, no one saw weakness or blindness, only beauty in their bond. One day, John took them past an abandoned barn near the edge of town. Its wooden beams were cracked and sunlight filtered through broken slats. Lily fussed in her stroller until Buddy patted over, pressing his body gently against her. She quieted instantly. John and Emily exchanged a look of amazement. Even in strange places, Buddy brought comfort. As they sat on the barn step, Lily's small hand stroked his fur, and the old building felt less lonely. To the family, it wasn't just a barn anymore. It was a reminder that love brings light, even in forgotten places. On a quiet country path, Emily pushed Lily's stroller while John walked beside her. Buddy trotted faithfully at John's leg, his red collar catching the sunlight. The road was uneven, but every time the stroller bumped, Buddy slowed, pressing against it as if steadying the baby himself. Lily clapped her hands and giggled, her joy echoing through the fields. Emily whispered, "He's more than a pet, he's family." John nodded silently, the truth undeniable. This blind old dog was guiding them, reminding them that sometimes the strongest protectors are those the world once overlooked. After a long walk, the family rested under a tall oak tree. John leaned against the trunk, satchel at his side, while Emily spread a small blanket for Lily. Buddy curled at John's boots, resting his head across them as if to say, "I'm here." The breeze rustled the leaves, sunlight dappling the grass. For a moment, it was only the sound of Lily's soft laughter and Buddy's steady breathing. John felt a calm he hadn't known in years. He realized then that Buddy wasn't just healing Lily. He was healing all of them. The day Lily let go of Emily's hands and took 2 wobbly steps, Buddy was there. He stood close, his golden fur brushing her tiny fingers, offering balance without fear. The baby squealed with delight, falling gently against his side. Buddy didn't move, his patience infinite. Emily clapped, tears streaming down her cheeks. John whispered, her first steps, with him. In that moment, the blind dog and the fragile baby were equals, each giving the other strength. It was proof that sometimes miracles don't come with lightning and thunder, but with quiet paws and tiny feet. The family often took small walks down the country road, stroller wheels humming softly on the gravel. John carried the satchel, Emily kept close, and Buddy walked steadily beside them. Neighbors waved, smiling at the sight, the blind dog guiding the stroller like an old guardian. Lily's laughter carried on the breeze, drawing smiles even from strangers. Once a forgotten shelter dog, Buddy was now a symbol of resilience, walking proudly with his family. For John, each step on that road felt like walking into a future he hadn't dared to dream. One golden afternoon, John knelt in the yard and wrapped his arms around Buddy. For the first time, the hardened man's eyes filled with tears. Lily reached from her stroller, fingers brushing Buddy's fur. The old dog pressed closer into John's embrace, tail wagging gently. Emily watched, her heart swelling. "He saved us," John whispered, voice breaking. Not with sight, not with strength, but with loyalty and love. That embrace became more than gratitude. It was a vow. No matter what lay ahead, Buddy would never again face the world alone. One morning, the family set out on a longer walk that led to a small wooden bridge over a sparkling stream. Emily pushed Lily's stroller slowly. John kept a careful hand on Buddy's leash, and the old dog trotted confidently, his red collar tag glinting in the sun. The boards creaked beneath their steps, but Buddy never faltered. Lily laughed, her tiny voice echoing across the water. Standing there together, the family realized how far they had come. No longer uncertain, no longer broken. The blind dog had become their bridge, uniting them with strength and love. On a quiet evening, John stood on the porch with Lily in his arms. His silver wedding ring caught the fading light as Emily sat nearby, smiling softly. At John's feet lay Buddy, ever faithful, golden fur glowing in the sunset. Though his eyes could not see, he seemed to watch over them all the same. The porch, once just wood and nails, had become their safe haven. Every laugh, every sigh, every quiet moment was shared under Buddy's watch. And for the first time in years, John felt he had everything he could ever need. Lily grew stronger each day, and soon she began to crawl. Emily placed her on the lawn, the grass warm under the sun. Buddy lay nearby, head resting on his paws. Slowly, Lily made her way toward him, giggling with each push of her little hands. When she reached him, she pressed her face into his fur, and Buddy wagged his tail gently, as if he had been waiting for her. John and Emily watched, silent and moved. This was more than a baby's milestone. It was proof of an unbreakable bond, one built on trust and love. As Lily learned to stand, she leaned against Buddy often, her tiny hands gripping his golden coat. He stayed perfectly still, strong and patient, his cloudy eyes softened with care. On the porch step, Emily and John watched as their baby leaned against their blind dog, both fragile yet resilient in their own ways. It struck them then. Neither weakness nor age could stop love from growing. They were leaning on each other, giving balance where the other lacked. In that simple act, the family saw the truest meaning of support. On a bright afternoon, John lifted Lily high into the air, her laughter ringing out like music. Emily clapped joyfully, her auburn hair glowing in the sunlight. Beside them stood Buddy, golden fur shining, tail wagging proudly. Though blind and once forgotten, he had become the heart of their home. The baby and the dog had formed a bond that defied every doubt, every fear. It was not just survival, but triumph, a miracle written in laughter, loyalty, and love. And as they stood together under the wide blue sky, the family knew their story had just begun.